And then she went into the insurance side of it, doing a case management.
Oh,
And then she decided she wanted to homeschool our kiddos, and so she stays home.
okay.
That's great.
Very good.
And how old are they?
I have several kids.
Oh, good. Okay.
So I have a 22-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, and we just adopted a boy last summer, and he is 7.
Oh my
That's-
gosh.
Actually, he just turned 8 last week.
Oh, that's
congratulations.
fantastic.
And we have a foster daughter also that's staying with us right now.
That's
That's
amazing.
amazing.
We have a full
That's a
house.
good
My oldest
spread.
son's out, but yeah.
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 That's great.
Right. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. All right. Welcome back to another WCN Live here at the Wilson County News. My name is Kristen Weaver, Director of Operations, and today my guests are...
Michael Billings.
Marisa Perez-Diaz.
Thank you so much for being here. Really excited about our conversation today. It's going to be a good one. So be sure and share this video. And before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor, OBR Metal Buildings and Components, where they have everything you need under one roof. They are located right here in town on 181 in Floresville, and you can learn more about them at obrmbc.com. Thank you so much for your sponsorship of WCN Live OBR. Okay, all right, so we got a few watchers. Hopefully some people will join on. Now, before we get started with my questions, we have a comment contest winner that we need to draw. So every time that we're live, we ask that you post a comment, and it can be just hello, a hi. You can ask us a question, and we will try our best to answer it while we're live. So let me do another thing that I usually do, which is share this video. Just give me a moment. Oh, good. Good morning, Vicki. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Why isn't it going to let me share? Sorry, guys. Want to share? I may have to do it later. My phone is acting up. Okay, no more glitches. All right, so if we could do this, could someone draw a winner? Let's see who that person is.
Connie Morales.
Oh, congratulations, Connie.
Great.
Great, good. So I will reach out to you if you're not watching right now. I'll reach out to our winner on Facebook Messenger after this conversation, and she wins a C Street gift shop gift bag. So we'll get that to you, Connie, and be sure, everybody who's watching today, to post a comment while we're live so your name can get into next week's drawing. All right, so I guess it's time. We will start with a little bit more of an introduction from each of you, if you would, please. Start with you, Marisa.
Sure. Hi. So again, my name is Marisa Perez-Diaz. I am the Vice President for Community and Public Relations over at First Mark Credit Union.
Great, so good to have you. And Mike?
My name is Mike Billings. I'm an ag science teacher at Floresville High School. I'm glad to be here.
Very good to have you, yes. Great, so let's talk about why we're here. And Marisa, that would be you. Tell us about yours and First Mark Credit Union's role in this Educator of the Quarter contest.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Kristen. So I'll say First Mark Credit Union is absolute champion for education, and our educators, our school employees, anybody who touches education. We were established over 90 years ago as the San Antonio Teachers Credit Union, offering support for educators and people who were working in the school system when there were no other institutions that were supporting them through the Depression. And since then, we've changed our name to First Mark Credit Union, but we've never left the legacy of support and giving that we have always committed ourselves to the education space. And so our partnership with Wilson County News is just so important because it gives us the opportunity to highlight some pretty tremendous individuals who give of their time, their efforts, their spirit, their love, I mean, everything.
Yeah.
You don't go into education without a heart for really making a difference in people's lives, and we know that to be true. And so everything that we do in terms of our community engagement, our impact back, is really centered around helping to support the adults in the system who help to support the young people that are going through their educational journey. And so in addition to that, we have our First Mark Foundation that is truly our philanthropic arm for the organization, where we're able to raise funds through our Power of the Dollar checking account.
Cool.
So our members are the philanthropists giving $1 a month to raise funds for giving back through grants and scholarships, and we're just really excited. We, as part of the foundation, we're a team of 3. Could not do this work without Miss Diane Bacon and Miss Lauren Ghostin, and so yeah, it's just a lot of fun to be able to give back to a system that gives back to every other sector that we know of.
That's amazing. So, First Mark Credit Union, y'all are great. You have been in Lavernia now for a couple of years.
That's correct.
Right? And yeah, that's been our introduction to First Mark, at least from that point of view, and the change in your name and that role. You can watch for the contest. You see it in the pages of the Wilson County News every week, that Educator of the Quarter. Get your nominations in. Also, social media posts. You've probably seen First Mark out in the community. You've seen us out in the community with this project. So that's what this is. And so every quarter, y'all are through this committee, between the two of us, we're picking a winner. Somehow we're landing on a winner. So what was it like to determine a winner? Just tell us about that process.
I'll tell you, it's always a really, really challenging process. Again, I mentioned that individuals who work in education don't do this, certainly not for the money or for the glory.
Yeah.
They do it because at the core of who they are, they believe that transforming young minds and young hearts and spirits is really what gives back to community in the end, right?
Yeah.
And so when we're getting these nominations in, it's just story after story of incredible individuals who self-sacrifice so much, and so it's really challenging because we're having to make decisions about who stands out, who doesn't, and so you'll read through some really inspiring stories, some heartfelt experiences, and then you hit one nomination that's like, this is it, this is the one, and then it's hard to read others after that. You still have to, but you have that one sort of standing by itself and standing tall, and we deliberate over it, and ultimately we come to a decision, which is why we're so excited to have Mr. Billings here. I'm not going to steal his thunder, so we can talk about him, but I think that for us it's truly a pleasure and an honor to be able to sit with you all in this space, to collaboratively honor individuals at Mr. Billings who are doing the work without any expectation of recognition for it. They just do it because they believe in what they do.
Yeah.
And I think those are the kind of individuals with the kind of stories we want to uplift and ensure that, at the core of who First Mark is, really having established ourselves to support education space and the education sector, we want to stay true to that.
Yeah. Well, I think that you are achieving that goal. And I would say you were talking about looking through the nominations that stand out. Well, every one of them is a standout. That person took the time. It could be a student, it could be a parent, or someone in the community that's recognizing that teacher, and they are standing out. So Mike, it must have been a surprise when did you get a knock on the door? How did that go? I know they have some great ways of announcing the winners.
So my class is kind of different I'm in the classroom probably 20% of the time. Yeah. Each day is different, but we spend a lot of time in the shop.
Yeah.
And so we were all outside and kids were busy working, hands full, spread out. Oh, yeah. And I kind of looked over my shoulder. Somebody pointed and said, "There's people coming," and we look out the door and there's a crowd coming up with the principal, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I wonder what I did." And so it was a surprise. It was a shock. It definitely was kind of just, I don't remember what day of the week it was, but it was like a normal day. I did not expect anything like that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So walk us through your background in education. Tell it, how many years have you been teaching, and the schools you've worked at, where you've been?
So I've worked in Floresville my entire career.
Awesome.
I grew up in deep South Texas in the Rio Grande Valley, and my wife was going to nursing school in San Antonio, and so we were looking for a job close by, and that's how I discovered Floresville.
Wow,
And so I've been teaching here for, this is year 24.
that's amazing. That is very cool. And so is that what that was your career? You were set out to do this
So
job?
I grew up, my grandfather was a farmer. I grew up around agriculture. I've always loved it. But urbanization was kind of taken over, especially in the Rio Grande Valley. And I knew I wanted to do something with agriculture. And then I worked in a bank when I was going to college. I was like, man, piles of money. That was pretty cool. And so I was almost going to go into the insurance business. But the first 5 years, they said I would be in a cubicle, and I'm a hands-on person, and it didn't seem like a good fit. And in the back of my mind, I'd always also had a teaching certificate.
Yeah.
I did student teaching. I thought about teaching ag, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to look more into this ag teaching stuff because that's what I really enjoy a lot, and I like the industry. And so that's how I ended up teaching.
Yeah, that is really awesome. What advice would you give teachers in the field today?
Perseverance. Learn some perseverance. Have thick skin. One of the biggest mistakes I feel like I did when I was younger was I didn't ask other people for advice. And I would say seek out peers that are successful, that are good in the things that you want to be good at, and it'll help you succeed, and you will get better at things way faster than trying to learn it the hard way, because I've learned a lot of things the hard way. And it's easier when you ask somebody that's an expert that's been doing it for a long time how to do something.
That's really good advice. And what would you like to share with your students?
I just hope all my kiddos learn some skills to where they can go out. I mean, they're going to learn whether or not working in the field with their hands is something they want to do real quick. And I tell them, you're either going to love it and want to do that, or you're going to learn you better start hitting the books and studying, because you're going to want an inside job, not an outside job. So I hope they learn that right off the bat, and I hope they learn just some basic hand skills that no matter what they do, whether they have an inside job or an outside job, they can repair lights, swing a hammer and fix hammer nails, drive screws, read a tape measure, read a set of plans and understand how things go together and put things together and engineer things for themselves, and realize they can do more than they think they can if you just like try. A lot of things these days with young people is they don't try to do some of the things that maybe 30 years ago we all did.
Can I just have to add something? So as I was listening to you speak, Mr. Billings, I think it really harkens back to why you're sitting at this table with us. And if you'd entertain this for me for just a second, I wanted to read really quickly what part of your nomination said. So you were actually nominated as part or from a photographer through the San Antonio Livestock Show and Rodeo. He has photographed you for several years now, and he just really just spoke so highly of the impact that he sees as somebody external. Right? He doesn't. He's never been in your classroom. He probably doesn't know where we're teaching, but just in your experience with your own students, like the interactions you had, he said it's very apparent that his students respect and admire Mr. Billings for his leadership and guidance, both as a teacher and as a person. The projects that Mike Billings has helped his students build and rebuild are absolutely amazing. The old tractors really do look better than they did when they were new from the factory. You can easily tell from their interactions that his students are being taught skills that will last them a lifetime. Yeah. That's powerful. That's a powerful testimony from somebody who's not with you every day. It's a few moments in time that they've captured, and they can see that just right then and there. I think that's pretty beautiful, and I just had to note that, because sometimes when you work, you're so humble about how it's hard to talk about yourself, but we're here to celebrate you, and I just wanted to uplift that, because that is the impact you're having on people.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah, really cool. And I think that, of course, the years that you've put in at Floresville and all that background and everything that you've just mentioned, I can just imagine, and I'm a parent who, you have taught one of my kids in the past, and hopefully you'll get to teach another one of them soon, but it matches what I would say, yes, that's what I see, and I know that there's many out there who also applaud you for this, and I think it's a very well-earned recognition. I was really excited when I saw your name was the one chosen, so I think that's pretty great. And I think that about all the teachers we've had on here, they really have been phenomenal. So just really cool that you've joined that, our quarterly recognition. That's great. Well, I guess we're circling back now to First Mark, and we need to talk about our upcoming deadline for this quarter, which is March 31st, and how you still have time to get your nomination in. Anything you'd like to say about that?
Yes, please just find us through all the avenues
Yeah.
that Kristen spoke about earlier. Application deadline is due March 31st. We're so excited. If you want to learn more about First Mark Credit Union, visit www.firstmarkcu.org, and then you can find more information about our First Mark Foundation and how we operate. We truly are a philanthropic organization that exists to support again, education, we always say, is the one sector that impacts every other sector that exists. You cannot be where you are today without education, and so for us, it's very, very important. It's truly is at the heart of what we do, and the individuals and career paths that we honor.
Right, great. You can also go to wilsoncountynews.com/edu to go directly to that nomination online. And I would remind you that if you have nominated in the past, please nominate again if your teacher has not received that recognition, because those nominations will start over. There will be another opportunity for the next quarter. So after this March 31st, get your nomination in. If you didn't get it, go again, because that next quarter then will come around and the process will continue. So we look forward to seeing all those nominations. The other thing I was going to say is, I don't know if we want to speak just again, it was coming back to mind about why I know why it's good to join the credit union, but the perks of having a bank account, maybe some of those things, I don't know them. You have to tell me.
Absolutely. Well, I'll say, depending on who the audience is, right? Right now, first and foremost, it's really important for us to be financially well, right? I think that when we think about education specifically, we think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? You need to be able to meet one need, the needs of food and all kinds of necessities in order to actually excel in your education. And so for us, it's really, really important, I think, to, number one, ensure that when individuals are going through their financial journey, we're here as partners. We absolutely want to be partners in education with individuals who perhaps sometimes it is hard to have conversations around finances, but all of us have to explore that. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out your adult life, or if you're a white collar professional that perhaps has never explored investments. Those sorts of conversations exist through every phase of life, and so First Mark can step in and help to support at every phase, whether it be through auto loans, which we offer discounts. If you're a Power of the Dollar member, please, again, come and learn more about that. But then we also offer first-time home loans, zero to low down, and then we also offer, we have a partnership with Hub. So it's an organization that helps to support individuals who are trying to understand the TRS system, so Texas Retirement System. That's tough. Okay. I worked for a decade in education, and when I left the education space, I didn't know what to do with my TRS. And that's a hard conversation to have as an older 30-year-old trying to figure out next steps. Again, at every phase of life, there are always financial wellness needs. And so let First Mark be a partner in that. We are always open, and there are absolutely no expectations. We would hope that you would join as a member, but let us build trust with you first, if that's the case. Let us show you what we're giving back to in community, and let us prove to you that we are a good partner, and we say who we are, and we truly follow through with what we believe.
Cool. And I would add to that, so because you're in Lavernia, that means anyone in Wilson County, right, can join.
Absolutely.
Right?
We actually have a state charter, so if you live, work, or live, work, faith build.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think
that's
of all the
right. Yeah,
points.
those are things.
Here in the state,
Yeah.
we can support
okay.
you, even if we don't have a brick and mortar.
Okay.
You know, our society
see.
now has moved to digital. We have a
Got it.
very easy
Okay.
digital application process,
Cool.
and we have individuals at the ready to help take phone calls and help you through the process of becoming a member. So we are more accessible than ever now, and it doesn't take very much. You know,
Yeah.
join the
Right.
credit union with $5, and you know, let us help you through your journey.
Sounds amazing. Great. Anything left to add as we're kind of in the last part
First
of our-
Mark helped me buy my first vehicle.
That's awesome.
I love
Yeah,
that
back
story.
when it was San Antonio Credit Union, right?
Yes, I was
Yes.
just right out of college and did not have much credit,
Yeah.
but I had worked and I had a pay stub that was a month old, and so I was able to qualify and get an auto
That is
loan,
good to know. That is really
and it
good to
worked
know.
out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for that testimony,
Yeah.
Mr. Billings. It
You're welcome.
it truly is where I think First Mark can also be a partner. Is, you know, sometimes individuals will have doors shut, right?
Yeah.
They will walk into institutions and they'll say, "I'm sorry, like we're not going to be able to help you." First Mark will always do our very best to help. And if we're not able to open an account or help with a loan right in that moment, we will not leave you without a hope and a plan. So
Nice.
that is something that we are committed to doing, and then making sure that we help you when you are ready.
Well, we have sure enjoyed having First Mark in the county, so really appreciate you guys being there. And remember that they're located in Lavernia, so check them out and keep just, you know, applaud what you're doing in the community. Appreciate you very much. Remember to get your nominations in. I thank you so much for joining us today and really coming on the show and letting everybody get to meet you and celebrate you. So really appreciate your time as well. Thank all of you for joining us, and be sure to share this video, and we'll be back again next Wednesday. But before I close, let me thank our sponsor of WCN Live, which is OBR Metal Buildings and Components. And you truly can get, well, I understand they have everything you need under one roof. They are located right here in Floresville off 181, and you can also learn more about them at obrmbc.com. And they're another company that I know you can go in there and they give great advice and guidance on projects. I've heard that as well. So thank you, OBR, for your support of WCN Live. Thank you again for coming, for joining. We'll see you again next week. Thanks.